Hello, folks. Welcome to the Crime Dog live stream. I'm your host, Johnny Furica, retired detective with the Rochester Police Department after serving 30 years. I worked uniform patrol, undercover narcotics. I did street investigations. I was a hostage negotiator for over 20 years, closing out my career with the fine men and women of the ATF. That's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. It was a federal task force where our main focus was violence and gun trafficking throughout these great United States of America. Sitting alongside me, you know who it is, as usual. He is a 22-plus year veteran, also a retired detective with the RPD. He was a legendary street cop. He was a undercover cop. He was the man, a SWAT team member, homicide detective David Simpson. What's up, brother?
Evening. How's it going?
David, we got a hell of a lineup here. We're going to talk a little bit about Jim Comey, the Penfield School Board, the incident on the Norris Street Bridge yesterday that I was involved in, the arson, the murder of beautiful Savannah Streever, and the GOP future that I want to talk to the Monroe County GOP about. But before we get into some things, David, one of the most liberal areas of the country was Virginia, where James Comey got indicted, and he responded to court today and he pled not guilty. Sweet old James.
What an asshole.
David, well said. Well said. You know, I talked to our super producer, Danny, prior to us going live, and he wanted us to talk about it. And I never disagree with Danny, but I don't disagree. He is a huge D-bag, this guy. 86-47 with his bullshit seashells over on the in the summer. This guy is nothing. He was never a cop. You could say he was a cop. He was not a cop. Just
total traitor. Total traitor.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is total F and D bag. It's just unbelievable. But I'm glad he got indicted, and we'll see where this goes. Like I said, it was the most liberal. It's one of the most liberal areas. So it's not like they stacked the deck like they did against Trump, go to the Eastern District of New York, David, getting him indicted where they know there's a bunch of libs over there and they're going to get him indicted easy. But he was in a liberal area in Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C. He got indicted. So we'll see where it goes. Right, brother?
Yeah, I think that indictment's going to get superseded. There's a lot more to unearth related to James Comey.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if there's more charges down the road. That was just the tip of the iceberg.
That was the tip of the iceberg. David, we're in the final stretch. We were the number one vote getter for Rock City Mag's Best of 2025. There's the title belt right there. David was in Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4. But Best of Rochester, the final ballot. So we made it to the finals, folks, all because of you. Shout out to the Cyber Midget, Cindy B. We love you. Thank you for doing that for us. We did get the top votes. So we are number one on the ballot. We need you all to go back to Rock City Mag because that was just the nomination process. Now it's the real votes, and voting lasts till like November or something like that. If Danny talks in my ear, it's like November 29th or something like that. But get in there now. Get in there. Vote now. Vote proud. Vote for the Crime Dog podcast. You got to do some clicking around, but basically go to rockcitymag.com and vote for the Crime Dogs.
You can only vote once, right?
Yeah. I think
yeah. So please go and vote. Please. It'd be hilarious if we won.
Unless you have multiple email addresses, you know what I'm saying?
Unlike me, who barely has one email, but yes, if you have multiple.
Yeah, I think
our boy Occupy definitely has some emails.
So the interesting part is when you go to Rock City Mag, you kind of got to navigate the whole thing. Why they do this, and we don't just they do it to collect your emails. That's what they're doing because you got to register with them and all that stuff. But vote for us, folks. You got us to the voting round. Now let's take it over the top. We'll find out January of 2026. Don't forget the Crime Dog live show. David and I are in studio at iHeart in Rochester, New York. We have a new time. It's 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning. iHeart asked us a couple months ago if we were interested in moving. David and I said yes. I wanted to move. D. Simps is always up early in the morning anyways. He's so up. It's like he's up at 4 a.m. to either golf, go to high school detention. He's got a paper route. He makes donuts. He does it all, folks. So
all before 9. And then
before 9.
And then I'm done for the day.
He does 18 holes. He does everything. He runs 47 miles, gets in the sauna, does the cold plunge. He does it all.
Yeah, before 9. Then I
Before
shut
9
it down.
before 9 a.m. Your day is all the way halfway over at 9
Oh, yeah.
a.m.
I had already played hockey today and had breakfast by 9:00.
You're unbelievable. That's why you're physically fit and a specimen, David. David, we also have dinner with the Dogs next Wednesday, folks. We've been promoting this for a while. I will tell you this: there was some logistical.
Explain it. You gotta
Yes.
explain it.
So there was some logistical issues with going live with our equipment and our lighting and all that stuff at the Winfield. But we had promoted it so much. We talked to the ownership today. They're so awesome. They're great people. That's why they're sponsors of us. That's why we support them. That's why you guys all support them. It's a wonderful establishment. We had a great convo with them today. And basically what we're going to do is we opted to bypass the live show at the Winfield for next Wednesday. However, this is the coolest thing that we decided on. All law enforcement / first responders. So if you are working for an ambulance crew, volunteer firefighter, regular firefighter that's full-time, police department, whatever it is, if you go to the Winfield on October 15th, from the time they open at 11:30 in the morning until the time that they close, I believe it's at 2 a.m., 20% off your bill once you present them with your first responder ID. And it's 20% off your entire bill. So if you get 100% food and a couple Diet Cokes, 20% off. If you go to the bar like David and I love to do, and you just want to eat at the bar or just drink at the bar like David and I do, 20% off your bill. If you want to do a combo of drinks and it doesn't matter, 20% off your bill, folks. They're doing this for law enforcement. They're huge supporters of first responders. So that's what we're going to do. And then David and I are going to be there from 6 to 9 p.m. We would love to meet some of our listeners. We're going to have some drinks. We're not going to do a live show next Wednesday because we are strictly going to be at the Winfield promoting one of our favorite sponsors, the Winfield Grill.
Now, you have to show ID, but
Yeah.
seeing as firemen wear their uniforms to bars and restaurants, they probably don't have to show ID because they're in full uniform when they go to the bars, right?
First of all, I know Fire Guy is watching. You know he's my man. So if you're gonna get,
I love Fire Guy. I'm just asking a question.
You're not getting me involved in the beef.
They don't gotta be in a full uniform and have ID. They're in a full uniform. Maybe they're good.
Hey, listen. First of all, I know where you're going with this. You're like,
they about to come in with an axe and a hose on them, like walking in.
Danny Fox is gonna walk in. That good-looking son of a bitch. That Danny Fox from Fox Gutter Cleaning, who's also a firefighter. He's gonna walk in, all 6'6" of him with his uniform on. He's gonna get 20% off.
Let me put down the axe and the hose and show you my ID.
Yeah, but I will tell you this: it does not apply to takeout orders. It is dine in and drink in only. That's
you
it.
Gotta stay.
I dare you. There's our guy. I think he's only going to buy me a drink now, David, because I don't ever disparage the firefighters. My main man, Timmy D. Imperial from the RFD.
I didn't disparage him. I was asking a question and making it clear. I was making it clear.
I got to be honest with you, David. You know, sometimes you ask questions and make statements that kind of teeter on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Anyways. Oh, look at this. Listening from the beautiful Florida Panhandle. My hubby says he could catch Dave on the ice. Kristen, that's awesome. Shout out to Florida. Or like our good friend Stu Schumann says, because he's from Long Island, Florida.
Or Florida.
Yeah. All right, David, let's get into this. Let's get into the show, folks. Penfield School Board meeting. You guys know we've been talking about this. This is like week 4. We've been talking about this. Their October 7th meeting was yesterday. Danny and I, our super producer, went on location. Danny, hit that video right now, please. Hello, folks. We are live at Penfield High School. We are here on location for the October 7th, 6:30 p.m. board meeting. We did a lot of reporting on this incident, and we're anxious to get inside. Come on with us. Let's see what hell's going on in there. Let's do it, Danny.
How about we start putting security in the school, because you seem to have a lot of security here.
Check this out, David. Wait till. So this is the meeting. This is the end of the meeting. So, by the way, shout out to Channel 10 for getting that video. I want to give them kudos. Danny, yeah, thank you for freezing it. So, David, a couple things I want to say. We walked into the Penfield school, which, by the way, I said a bunch of our Blackhawk guys from our retired past were there. I said hello to them. And we went inside, Danny and I. And I got to be honest with you. I counted one side of the room, and the other side of the room wasn't even at. I guesstimated about 100 people in the audience. When I say I guesstimated 100 people in the audience, I say people because I don't know if they were all parents. I don't know if people in attendance were older people without kids in the school district. So I'll just say that right now. I'm not saying they weren't parents where there wasn't people that they had in the school district, but there was people there. Was not a lot. I thought it was going to be standing room only, line out the door after what happened. This is the first school board meeting since we dropped all the stuff on the twits.
So everyone got in that wanted to get in.
Everybody got in there. They wanted.
See, this is the problem I have with Penfield. There's a big uproar, and then when it comes to showing up at the polls,
well,
you do a lot of talking and not a lot of walking.
I'm going to tell you right now. Ready for this? There was seats open, which me and Danny stood in the back. I stood next to some of the Blackhawk guys that you and I both know. I stood there, and Danny and I basically were shooting a shit, kind of whispering in our ears. I did see the wonderful Sarah Pace, who was on our show. She was there in attendance, but there was definitely open seats. It was unbelievable, and they went through their regular school board meeting. But what you saw there, I'm going to fast forward and kind of jump around a little bit. What you saw there was a parent. Dave, remember we talked about this last couple of times? You got to be on the agenda. If you're not on the agenda, then you don't speak. The problem was what I'm getting information on is that they kind of nixed some of the parents from speaking. That woman that you saw that spoke, I kind of watched her because I got some of the Penfield parents that sent me the video. She was very articulate, very passionate, by the way. She had a great dialogue. She just went up there and just started talking. What you saw there at the end of the video, folks, that Channel 10 caught, again, shout out to them. They caught the school board, David, getting up while she was mid-sentence. And they were like, yeah, she's not on the agenda and we don't have to listen to her. So some of the board members got up and walked out. I will say this, Superintendent Potter, she was in the shot that I had on a private video that was sent to me. She did have all her stuff in her hand. She stood up, didn't sit back down, but she did listen to the entire narrative. The entire speech that woman gave. However, she was leaning over and talking to people as the speech was going on. Disclaimer, I'm not trying to bash her, but there was some disrespect where I thought that give this parent a chance to talk. They didn't even sit down. Some of them just got up and left. Some of them stood there and sat there and listened.
So there were some rumors that she was telling people to get up and leave, and they weren't. And some of the people that stayed weren't listening to her. That's why.
Oh, really? That's why she stayed?
That's why she was whispering to people like, let's go. And they weren't.
I did not know that.
That's what I heard. Again, was not on campus, so I don't know. I'm no eyewitness.
Yeah, she wasn't on the agenda. But anyways,
I got a big problem with that. Everyone's up. We had like 15,000 views on this. I think I had like 40 DMs with questions.
Right.
And then, the first school board meeting, it's a rainy night. It's, what time was the thing? 7:30 at night?
Right.
And you can't get capacity. Like 6:30. This is the whole point is you have to have strength in numbers. It's the only way you're going to move the dial.
Yeah.
And all that shows, if she sees an empty seat, all that shows is a small minority of people and poo-poo, and nothing's going to change.
Well,
and
let me just...
You might as well put a for sale sign in front of your house if you can't make the meetings and you can't vote.
David, it's so funny that you said that because, listen, we have a lot of brothers and sisters that live in the district, One of our brothers, who I'll tell you who was off camera, called me when all this shit broke, and I was talking to him on the phone. And he's like, bro, he goes, I gave him the inside scoop. And then he's like, you understand? I moved from the west side specifically to the east side, specifically to the Penfield School District because of their strong school district. He goes, and now all this stuff's going on. He goes, I'm out of my mind right now. So, David, here's the thing though. Here's what I got to do with it. It sounds so cliche, but I do bash the Rochester media all the time and I don't really give a shit, but I love the fact that they're picking up the story now. They picked up the school board meeting. Nothing wanted to address except in little blurbs on their websites. Cause I checked, I monitored them. I was once a detective. I looked, all they had was little blurbs on their websites. They never did full stories on any of the news. I didn't see it. I could be wrong, but now all of a sudden they're jumping in the game, Dave.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've talked about why they have their own agenda, and because we had kind of a lead on sources, I think they totally backed off because they would have had to give us credit. But
Right.
before we leave, I just want to know: do you not agree that that's a bad look for the lack of people that were showing up, considering the noise that everyone was trying to make?
I think it's 100. I 100% agree with you. That's why I said I counted the people. There was empty seats. I was totally shocked. I literally thought, can I tell you honestly, there was a boatload of stuff going on there. There was a soccer practice. There was, I think, a tennis match. There was, I don't know, a European tour.
We thought there would be people not allowed in. Like you couldn't.
David,
fire
listen,
marshals.
When me and David went to the school, the parking lots were packed. You got to go around the back to the tennis courts. Which, by the way, I'm an idiot. Where we parked at the tennis courts, we just went in the door. We went all the way around. Full other story, but anyways, there was a bunch of events going on inside the school. I thought all those cars were overflow parking because of the school board meeting. Not so. But David, listen, let me tell you this. Here's the favorite part about the media, right? My favorite part about the media reporting on this, it's like the media reporting on the Super Bowl finals or the Super Bowl final score in June or July, right? I mean, this story is like basically old now, right? But now they want to talk about it. That's number one. Number two, the DNC drops an article, which you and I don't even read that liberal mag. What we do, I do bash them online because they're horrible. But by the way, shout out to Gary Craig. I do like Gary. We did pods with him that we haven't even dropped yet. But David, they write a whole article on basically what happened, right? Now they do. I think it was yesterday or today. I don't even remember when they dropped it. Yesterday or today. Danny found it. And then they mentioned, okay, it was today. Danny's in my earbuds. So listen. So they mentioned my name specifically, and here's what they said. Soon after, theories about the threat spread rapidly on social media. Johnny Furica, retired police detective, who now co-hosts the Crime Dawg podcast, posted a list of allegations about the case on Twitter and Facebook, claiming they came from unnamed sources with direct knowledge. Those unverified details were amplified on various community social media pages. But the article goes on to say, ready for this, David? Furica also did not respond to a request to comment on October 7th. Request from who? The DNC never reached out to me. I don't know if they never. So basically, they threw that in the article because they probably knew I wasn't going to read it.
You got to put that on Twitter. And
dude, I already did.
All right.
I already responded to him. So I didn't even know we were on. We'll
comment on anything.
Right.
You ask, I answer.
So I go, holy shit, David! Did I not get a DM from the DNC?
It was one of those things like when I text you and you're out for the night and you totally ignore me. It was one of those.
Well, yeah, 100%. But I wouldn't do that to the DNC. I wouldn't. But anyways, it says basically I didn't respond for a request for a comment. I asked him, I said on Twitter, I responded, I said, how did you reach out for me exactly? Did you set up a smoke signal? Did you set up a bat signal? I go,
carrier pigeon.
I go, I constantly bash your liberal mag. I go, for misleading your readers. This is one of the reasons why. Hashtag, that's it. David, I got to tell you this though. And I want to end the Penfield stuff with this. Okay. I want to end it with this.
Penfield. Disappoint me, Penfield.
I know. But I'm going to tell you this, though. I'm going to send this to you. The one thing that we did with this whole thing, like I said, we only broke the stuff because of the kids. But I'm going to tell you information that I received prior to the podcast tonight, prior to the live stream. I got information from this 4-page letter that Bob Young sent out. He sent it to the Penfield board, the Board of Education, which is, Superintendent Potter sits on top of. But he sent it to the entire board. He sent it to the president of the board and to all the board members. He's from the Penfield Education Association, the PEA. It's the union president. I'll say his name again, Bob Young. I'm not going to get into the letter itself because the persons that are sending me the information, I don't know if they want it made public. But I'll tell you this right now. It is a strongly worded, very articulate letter that Bob sent to the Board of Education, basically saying, hey, by the way, I don't know what's going on, but my teachers are not happy with what's going on. I sent communication back about school security, about how you're handling stuff back in the spring. And then the recent incident happens, David, and it's not even addressed. And now the teachers he's saying that he represents, their antennas are going up even higher after the incident that you and I reported on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the Penfield teachers could be happy with the current state of things and the leadership there.
Right.
But again, it's so frustrating that people. It's the same way, and it's not just Penfield. It's the same way when LaRon ran for Congress and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Republicans and people that have a different view than the Democrats don't get out to vote. It's like the laziest thing. They'll run their mouth and they'll talk a good game and they'll, bash people on social media and stuff like that. But when it comes to getting off the couch, getting in your car, going to a voting station, going to a board meeting, raising hell, organizing, it goes right down the drain. It just loses steam when it comes to that. Anything above a keyboard loses steam.
And I'll tell you this, ready for this stat that I'm going to throw out there? Again, this is just from Bob's letter. I assumed it to be true. But what he alleges in the letter is that he reached out to Superintendent Potter, Dr. Potter, and basically was like, hey, I have had, because this guy must have been on for a while. He's like, I've gone through 6 superintendents. He says that right in a letter. And he also says, hey, we've had this, like, I think either a bi-monthly meeting or I'm pretty sure it's like bi-monthly. She totally nixed that. Like, she doesn't even have that anymore. So there's no communication with the teachers union president and what's going on in the district. So she totally kiboshed that, which is, like I said, that's just Bob's side. That's from the letter. I assume it to be true. I say that allegedly because I don't know if it's 100% true. I don't know what the circumstances surrounding that are, why Dr. Potter made that decision or didn't make that decision. But either way, that's what he articulates in the letter. But I have to talk to my sources on that to see if I can make that letter public because it's a very, very interesting letter. I'll send it to you after the show. Yeah. Okay, so Danny, you got a question for me, brother? You're in my ears.
No, he's asking. There's a question that came up.
Oh, okay. Did the student ever reach out? Well, here's the interesting thing about Miles, our new buddy Miles. We reached out to him. David reached out to him separately on a response saying, "Hey, thanks for coming on the stream." I did also. Then I had gotten a response. I don't know if it was a DM or a twits
from
but
mom.
Was it the mom?
Yeah.
Who basically said, hey, he's got a hell of a support unit, and which was so cool, but yeah, that was from, what's that, from Fire Guy that was asking? Yeah. So that's the update on Miles. So keep an eye on Miles for us. He's a good kid. Danny, is there any other comments that we want to get to? Okay, cool. Let's go on to the next one then. All right, folks. Yesterday, you probably saw some stuff going around on the twits. This is the one we've been waiting to do. We were going to have the guys on the footbridge over 590 on the podcast just last week when they got their signs ripped down by those crazy left-wing women. What ended up happening was there was some logistical issues. When I say logistical, I totally dropped the ball. David got all the information. I didn't reach out in time, and they had made other plans and didn't come on. But yesterday, Danny had found that they were going to be on the Norris Street Bridge, which is in Cobb's Hill. It's another walkway that basically goes over 490. So we said, hey, let's take a camera. Let's go out. This is a 10-minute video. What I want you to watch, and we may stop the video as we go, but there was one Antifa, whatever you want to call him, guy that shows up. His name's Lucian. And you could watch for yourself. We might pause the video, but it's 10 minutes long. It's worth watching. Watch what goes on. Go ahead, Danny. So that's the walkway that they were at. It goes over 490. It basically attaches.
Welcome to the Crime Dog Podcast. We're on location, Norris Drive Footbridge, scene of the infamous crime that took place, or crimes that took place. As you see our brothers behind us, they were doing a pro-American, pro-ICE, pro-Trump rally of their own. They got their signs taken by some irrational, unhinged people on the left. We're going to interview some of those guys today. Listen to all the horns blowing, all the positivity that's going on right now. All the horns, this 5 o'clock traffic right now. You can see their Trump flags. You can see all their stuff going on right now. So we'll see. Let's do some interviews, baby. Woohoo! We're here with Abdul Bounds. He was the man that was in the video that went viral locally, especially in Rochester, New York, and throughout the nation. Abdul, thanks for joining the Crime Dawg podcast today, brother. You're pretty brave. You were well reserved last week when you had some unhinged women come and attack you and attack what you believed in and attack your signs. What do you have to say to them?
You know, what I say to these people is, man, hey, man, the left, something really wrong with y'all. Yo, we out here voicing, again, our fundamental rights, and we have people coming here trying to create violence. They want us to act violent. They want us to portray what the narrative says. And yo, man, y'all all seen it, man. We're the right, man. I don't act violent. You can spit at me, you can throw rocks at me, you can do all this other threats and all this shit to me. But I will not react because, once again, I'm going to show you that I'm not violent.
And you know what? I got to say that because prior to us, before Danny turned the camera on Abdul, we have one anti-guy there. He's got his whole sign. They welcomed him. They shook his hand. They said, God bless you. You have every right to be up here. They didn't chastise him. They didn't threaten him. They didn't push him down. They didn't treat him the way Abdul and his friends were treated when they came up here to confront them. So that's kudos to you and your staff, man. Really appreciate it, Abdul. If you have one message for the American people, what is it?
Yo, stand up for what y'all believe. Once again, call these leftists out, these globalists and these elite. Once again, I want y'all to see my face. I'm not scared of you. Charlie Kirk put us on or something. We coming for y'all.
There it is, Danny. Straight out of Abdul's mouth to your ears. You have a guy that's pro-American, pro-ICE, pro-Trump, just doing a non-violent support with him and his buddies. And we'll see how that goes today. We're going to be up here for the ride. Danny, we're here with
pause it for a second. Okay, so folks, here's what happened. This is the only anti-guy that's on the bridge right now with his little Palestine scarf on. What ends up happening is he had walked up, like I had said. He walked up. They actually welcomed him. What's unhinged about this guy, and you're going to see how unhinged he gets, but he's got a cardboard sign with like marker on it, and he was holding. You couldn't read his sign from 2 feet in front of him, let alone through the fence when you're driving down 490. So I don't know what he thought he was going to accomplish. His whole thing was total disruption. His whole thing was acting like they act. You're going to see how unhinged it gets. Go ahead, Danny.
Protesters. He came up on the walkway bridge today. He is opposing Abdul and Abdul's staff and all his buddies. And he doesn't want to give us his name, which is cool. Could you tell us why you came out today?
My name is Lucian Hammond, and I'm here because these people are a detriment to society. They're the worst that our society has to offer, which is why they're backing Trump. He's an autocrat that does whatever he pleases. He molests children. And we have these people who don't believe in anything in my city. Frankly, they're an eyesore. I think that they represent a culture that we've seen and know all too well. And we know what it leads to. It's not welcome here.
Okay, I got a question for you, Lucian. So these gentlemen came up here. When you walked up, let's take this in pieces, okay? Being objective. When you walked up, they welcomed you, and there was no issue, and they shook your hand, said, God bless you. Was that correct or incorrect?
Oh, my God. With the fake civility bullshit, they feign civility so that you can pray, oh, whoa, what's going on? When these people clearly support mass deportation, regardless of whether or not you are a citizen, born here, or have committed any type of crime. Meanwhile, the person that they also have a flag over there supporting Trump, known pedophile, best friend of Jeffrey Epstein, literally just said he was going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, his partner in crime. He's been charged for assaulting minors. These people don't care. They don't believe in anything.
Okay, so let's take it in pieces, and I'm not arguing with you. I'm just asking you some questions. So you have these guys coming up here as a group. They put up their flags. They have every right to do it because this is America. You have every right to be here also. What did you think of what happened to them by those women that ripped down their property last week?
I think they had it coming, obviously. They're worthless. This is a bunch of garbage polluting my city. And
So after they were harassed and being had their stuff taken, it's
no, I don't care. No.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't give a shit. There's a line that you have crossed the social contract, and when you support a wannabe Mussolini, wannabe Putin pedophile who's just out in the open, screwing kids, sicking a secret police on our citizens, regardless of whether they committed a crime, deporting people against our constitutional rights. You want to talk about their right to be here? They've broken the social contract. These guys are a bunch of fucking garbage, and frankly, so are you. You guys are complicit. Yeah.
Whoa. So could you state your basis of knowledge and your evidence that Trump is a pedophile, other than your opinion?
I'm so glad I wasn't
that
there.
He literally has convictions. He's been charged. He has settlements. You guys just don't
With
care.
children, you call them a pedophile, though. Pedophile is a man a person that commits crimes against children.
Yes, that's what I just said.
And where was his crimes against adult women? When did that happen? Settling out of court civilly is not a crime.
I'm not even. We're not talking about the same thing. Shut up. I'm talking about him screwing kids.
I thought you guys were the party of rational people. Why are you telling me to shut up? Why can't we have a dialogue?
I'm so rational that I'm irate by you fucking
So
idiots.
you get mad when
So
somebody
rational
challenges you?
that I'm irate.
You think you're challenging me?
Well, I'm asking you questions that you
What
can't
a
answer.
dumb bastard.
What was your question?
My question
what about
was- my
grown women? Bro, my question to you is,
hang on,
what about the pedophile?
Okay, where was
accusation?
he ever
What about
convicted?
the
It's an
kid?
accusation.
It's in Florida, dumbass.
Where was
You want me to pull it up?
where?
You don't know. Where? You don't know. You don't
Look how
fucking
unhinged
know.
this dude is.
But you wanna
it's
talk about
factually
what you
incorrect.
know,
It's
what's-
factually incorrect.
Right? Yeah. You know. I bet.
I do know.
No, you don't.
It's factually incorrect. Your statements are. Where are you walking away for? I thought you guys were the party of rational reason. Come back
Are
on.
you then? That must
I'm
be
trying
you.
to. I'm trying to ask you questions. So these guys have a constitutional right to
I don't
be
give
here.
a shit.
So you're saying because it hurts your feelings that
Am
it's
I the
socially.
fucking feds, you retard?
But you said it's
These
socially.
guys represent the
but
feds. Shut up!
You said
Shut the fuck up!
You said it was
I'll
socially.
represent the rational
Didn't
party
even
right now.
flinch.
These people represent the
You gotta
secret
talk in a
police.
microphone so we can talk to you.
These people represent the secret police that are
Who's the secret police?
that are the feds. That are the fucking feds, and they come for people who have every right to be here.
Why are you
Just
getting
like
so
you-
angry?
Because my neighbors are being deported, you fucking idiots.
So hang on. Anyone that's
You're
being
fucking-
deported has an order coming from a deportation
How
judge.
about the people who are being deported for saying their speaking their First Amendment rights? People
That
that are
happened.
speaking
Did that?
on
Could you
behalf
name one?
Of the
Could you
Gazans
name
who are
one?
being How about the students from Columbia University, I believe, who was deported? He was deported
Because they weren't citizens though.
Yes, he was.
They had
You
their.
are literally wrong. You literally don't know what you're talking about. You're fucking stupid. Shut the fuck up.
Why are you getting so mad?
Shut the fuck up. I will not calm down. Why don't you make me calm down? Why don't you fucking make me calm
So here's where I try to calm him
Hey,
down a
hey,
little
hey,
bit.
fuck
I try to calm him. He turned to me.
Yeah, I am fucking
Come
mad.
over here. Talk to me over here.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh,
See, now that wasn't cool. That wasn't cool.
he took.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna shut up to swing at me. Think you gonna swing at me, Gus? Go, you swing at me, bro. I just did swing at you. Swing at me, bro. Swing at me, bro. Swing at me,
He's
bro.
such a.
I just swung. All those innocent cops, all the cops, little kids.
Look at him. Look at him.
I would have wiped my ass with that scarf. Promise.
Dan, you could click it because he leaves after this.
Got the North Street red like oh yeah, like you aren't starting trouble with my fucking man. I'll pay you now. I'll pay you. Don't just push you now. I'll pay you. I fucking I'm a crazy. You haven't been anywhere. Oh, I would not be here right now.
There you go. You got it, folks. That's the irrational left right there for you. Unhinged, can't take getting challenged, and he is never, ever going to listen to anybody else. Because apparently the voices of reason on the left unhinged side don't want to hear anybody else's side. They threaten, knock people's hats off. Weird.
David, first of all, let me just take this one at a time. This guy, I was laughing because you and I both know, watching the video and assessing the video, Lucian, honestly, and I'm not even joking around, needs mental health. I mean, he needs mental health help. He is someone who, like, people, it was funny when I'm going to text you with the ATF guys. I set up, say, hey, man, guys, just so you know, I got bullied last night. And they started laughing. They go, oh, shit, did you slap somebody, Johnny, like you usually do? I said, no, I was cool. But here's the thing, David. When I look at a guy like that, remember when we did mental hygiene arrests and we knew somebody was pazzeria in Italian, that means crazy head. But we knew, I could tell he was totally unhinged. He was up, he was down. You could tell he's either bipolar or schizophrenic. He's something, right? The one thing that we never wanted to do when we were going to do a mental health arrest or mental hygiene arrest, we hated putting our hands on those types of people, right? This kid was totally unhinged. He was totally mental. He was totally off the rails. Look at his gibberish. He went from talking and then he just went off the rails. This kid was a lunatic.
Yeah. I'm just glad I wasn't there. I don't have your patience, and I'm definitely violent, and I couldn't have held myself. I fully know who I am, and that you're a better man than me.
But listen, here's the thing. So, the one thing is I'm going to tell people right now. So the video from last week when the guys were approached by all those women, right? That inspired Lucian apparently to come out this week, yesterday. But I'm going to explain crimes to you people, because when you're in a public place and you're displaying property that's yours, like flags, that doesn't mean you, as somebody else who opposes it, has the right to take possession or do anything to anybody else's property. That's no bueno. If you go to Rite Aid and steal bubblegum, that is a petty larceny off the shelf. If that bubblegum is in your pocket and someone picks your pocket and you don't know about it, that's a grand larceny, which is an E felony. If someone tries to take the bubblegum out of your pocket and they use force, push you down and try to fight you for it,
Trips you, anything.
right? That's a felony. That's a C felony, possibly a B felony if they use a weapon. That's called robbery. So what these women did last week was crimes. What Lucian was doing, those are crimes that they did, not against me for flicking my brim of my hat. What are you going to do? That wasn't a crime. But the crime of what he was doing to these guys, taking their property, ripping it, stepping on it, defaming them, doing all, those were all crimes that he was doing. I hope they do go get police reports on this guy. They got his name, they got his face, everything's on our video. They can take our video.
It was taken by force. Should be charged as such.
Yeah.
When you're grabbing something and there's a tug of war for it, like grabbing someone's purse and you're ripping it out of a lady's hand, that's a robbery.
Right. Exactly. But David, this kid was totally unhinged. And there's a part of me, and you know me, I'm a mental health guy, hostage negotiator. There's a part of me is like, man, I mean, there's no rationalizing with this guy. So it's not even like I could have a conversation with him offline and be like, hey man, I know you're upset about this. Let's talk about it. I could probably get you some help. Right. I don't even think he's there. That's how far gone I think this kid
that
is.
also goes to your expertise. You dealt with people like this in your hostage situations when you were dealing with some of these troubled individuals, and you have a great deal of patience in walking them through that. I probably wouldn't have been the guy that you wanted on the other end of the phone when dealing with some of these people for a long period of time.
Yeah, you were the SWAT guy that went after the primary aggressors and you showed them who was in charge.
Or I would have just said, okay, I got to go to happy hour. Can you please just jump and get this over with so I can get out of here?
Well, listen, folks, that was the video. I couldn't wait to show that video to you guys, because here's the thing, David, and I'm going to say this. The progressive Democrats the left of center Democrats
Are
and
out of their goddamn mind.
well, here, hang on. But here's the thing. This is exactly the guy that when I watched this video after Danny sent it to me yesterday, this is exactly the guy that they gaslight. This is exactly the guy that they're targeting, right?
Yeah.
When they make their statements, when
With the
Maxie,
fascists and the Nazi and the all that BS. That at 100%. You're right on the money.
this is the guy, folks. This is the guy that they're targeting. A guy that's not of rational mind, of rational thought. You could see he did not have sentence structure. He was not articulate. He got crazy off the rails when I even was politely asking him questions or challenging.
He was wrong about everything, by the way.
He
Like
was
his
wrong about
information was horrible. He wasn't even close.
Wasn't even close.
Like there's things you can criticize Trump on 100%.
right.
What he was criticizing was just a fantasy.
It was factually incorrect.
Right. And that goes for all these people. Every single person that stepped up on that bridge and taken stuff has mental health issues.
Yeah.
Every one of these people in the videos is who they're targeting. And those are the type of people that get talked into pulling a trigger on somebody.
Yeah.
These loons. Because they're crazy. Just picture that they stop their car. They're out doing stuff. And they drive by and see this. And they stop and U-turn, come back to this bridge to get out of their car and to come take a flag.
Yeah. Yeah. And yell at them.
I mean, I don't stop for red lights sometimes. These guys are stopping for an ice flag.
Yeah. So I just want to reiterate this. This is exactly the type of people that the Democrats, whether you're progressive and you're of rational thought, you're left of center or extreme left, this is what they're all doing. They're gaslighting people. They're doing psyops on these people. They're actually giving them misinformation. National media, the mainstream media, like Sergeant Miller just posted, the national media, the mainstream media, this is the person, David, that they're reaching out to. This is the one that they're trying to get to do things like this.
And it doesn't take much. Look at this guy. It doesn't take much.
Doesn't take much, right? This doesn't take much, which is why we shot this video. It's just craziness. All right, Danny, let's get to the comments. Yeah, spicy mustard, great call, man. Mental health, yeah. Look at that guy. Like I said, man, I'm a mental health guy. I'm writing lesson plans, writing programs. I have Comp Check Friday. I talk about mental health for cops. It extends to people that are not cops too. We got some programs that were. I'm totally mental health guy, but this guy is totally unhinged. Let's see here. Yeah, that was crazy. Oh, that's our boy Burn. What's up, B? Click the next one, Danny boy. Spicy mustard. That's a good call. No question.
Multiple. But it doesn't matter because you just get an APT.
That's my boy Maddie. Yeah, Maddie. You know, the thing is, you know what's so funny? And I know Maddie's just joking. Danny, stop those for a second. What's so funny about that is as this is going on, like, you know how our brain works. Like, I was sizing him up from the time I walked up to him. I was watching his hands, doing all that stuff. But obviously, I wasn't fast enough to juke the brim of my hat getting flicked off my head. However, I will say this. David, I talked to you about this last night. The crazy left like this is, and I don't want to call him crazy, mentally deranged. Let me tell you this right now. Here's the thing. These people are aggressive. They have two gears and two gears only, David. They act like tough guys or they play the victim. So, like I said, my ATF text string, all my boys, I love them to death. They were like, oh shit, did Johnny Slate, how did it end? Oh my God, how bad? No, it didn't end bad like that. You know, here's the thing. It didn't end bad because they have the second gear. Look what they're doing in Portland and all these other places. They act like tough guys from 2020 to 2024, 2025, right? But now they're getting the snot beat out of them because they're being aggressive. They're meeting force with force. And what do? They cry, they shake, and they're litigious. They put lawsuits on people. So I don't need this dude sitting in my condo in Flowrider with his feet up with his dirty underwear on because I smashed his grill piece. And next thing you know, he's on the ground, hits his head, and he sues me. Probably doesn't even have Obamacare. You know what I mean? That's the problem with these people is they go from aggression to victim. They're very litigious.
You're smarter than me. He also
Yeah.
just so you know, he was 100% affiliated with Antifa. And
Yeah.
the reason why I know this is because he has a 1312 tattoo on his knuckles, and
Yeah.
that stands for all cops are bastards. And that is something that a lot of Antifa people identify with. A bunch of his tattoos were Antifa related. So
And the
I'm
numbers
sure,
represent letters in the alphabet. That's what they say.
right.
Abacat. Yep.
Right, they're on his, I think his left knuckles. So
Yeah.
this is the same type of guy that was lighting police cars on fire. I'm not saying he was. I'm
But
saying
the type of
that
person.
this is the type of person that was dressed all in black, coming from the suburbs, and going down to the police department and during the riots for the criminal Daniel Prude
Yep.
and torturing cars. This is the
Yep.
guy. This is the type.
Yeah. Hey, let me just tell you this though. So, sidebar to the 2020 riots, I will tell you this, and this is not firsthand knowledge. Let me tell you this. This guy or his buddies in Antifa that try to torture Rochester, not one, not two, every single one. Every single one. And this came from my boys and girls up in Major Crimes who investigated a lot of that shit that went down during 2020. Frank Umbrino's guys, Captain Umbrino's Major Crimes homicide guys and girls, literally told me every single one they got in the box in the interview room, they cried. They cried and broke down when they told them, yeah, you're not going home tonight. These are the charges that you're being charged. Oh, by the way, some of you are going federally. Not one, not two, not some, not 50%. Every single one of them cried in the interview room with the detectives up in homicide when they investigated these things. That's a fact. What do we got for Arlene? What did she say? What did Arlene say, our girl? Arlene, what did she got? That's one guy. Imagine what ICE deals with. Yeah, no shit. You're right, Arlene. No kidding. No kidding. Danny, we got any more comments? Here we go. Agustin, you did a wonderful job. You kept your composure. Yeah, he did, Augustin. By the way, shout out to you. I know you're up in, I think he's retired now. I think my main man, Augustin's in Florida now. He's all done. Shout out to you, Augustin. G Money. Thank you, G. Appreciate you. Love your face. Thank you for all your gifts to me and David in the studio last week, too. Celebrating our 1 year on the radio. G Money, shout out. Wendy and Johnny, you have so much self-control. I probably would have. Thank you.
She's the one that went. That's the Alaska.
Gina is, yeah, not Wendy. Yeah, Gina. She's the one who was in the studio last week. Thank you, Aunt Wendy. I appreciate that. Let's see. What do we got here? My man, David would have had no doubt, Josh. David's a hockey player from way back. David played a sport where they fought for sport. Yeah, David would have probably knocked that guy's grizzle out.
I just don't have the patience Johnny has. He's a better man than me. He's right about every single thing. I 100% would have been in the wrong, and I 100% would have done it and not thought twice about it.
Yeah, I know you would have. And you're not just talking shit. Our main man, Occupy. Yeah, man, David, he says, I know that. Look at, yeah, what do we got here? What else we got? Amanda V. Yeah. Amanda says,
no, I know. I need to sit him out. I'm not.
Yeah, David's on the bench for these ones. Yeah. There's our guy, Fire Guy. Yeah. Well, it's funny. Fire Guy, that's exactly what I'm saying. He's 100% right. That's our guy. Fire Guy's 100% right because that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about these are the people that the Dems, even local Dems, are trying to get jacked up, David. These are the guys that they're going after to get them all jacked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, these are the people. I mean, you think about some of the events that some of our politicians have attended. I guarantee this guy has been at some of them. Some of these protests.
Yeah, I know. There's our girl, Rochester Rants, the left farther would use people. Yeah. Rants is right. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about them going after people, talking to them through their television, reaching out. And she knows, she's right. Rants is like, they reach out to people that are mentally unhinged, mentally unstable, people that have drug addictions. And when you're not of sound mind and sound body, you do irrational things. And this is exactly what this guy did.
It's easy when you hear voices to add another voice that tells you to do some violence towards other people.
I know. All right, baby. So we're going to jump to our next topic. For those that don't know what's going on in the Rochester media, there was a huge case going on yesterday. David and I hate doing these cases, but there was a case that was dismissed against a scumbag named Timothy Kuhn. Rochester had an arson death of an 8-year-old beautiful Savannah. I think it's Strieber. I don't want to mispronounce her name. But what ended up happening was it was in February of 2004. This guy Kuhn had a relationship with Savannah's mom. Savannah's mom used to work at Alfano's, which is now a torn down restaurant, which is on Ridge Road and Lee Road, right near 390. She was working, had a babysitter watching the kids. What ends up happening, the babysitter's son says, "Hey, mom, there's a fire." Molotov cocktail back porch through the back window. Also, fire ensues. It's a total arson, totally intentional job. It was this guy, Timothy Kuhn.
And the worst
allegedly.
part about it was, as they told the little girl to leave the house, they thought she was going to leave the house. She didn't know her mom was at work, and she went into her mom's bed to try to get her mommy, and she died in her mother's bed trying to save her mom, who wasn't home. That's the freaking king that kills.
The babysitter did an awesome job, got all the kids out of the house, woke them up. Savannah and her sister were sleeping, got them up out of the house, did a great job. Her son, everybody out. Loses track of Savannah because she's out there during the chaos, calling 911, going to neighbors. Savannah, what a beautiful little soul, thinks her mom, like David said, is still in the house. And she goes in to save mom. And what ends up happening is she passes, unfortunately, in the intentionally set arson fire. So that brings us to yesterday. They were supposed to go to jury selection for this Timothy Kuhn guy. What ends up happening in this 2004 case, the investigator started in 2004, went into 2005, and it then, for some reason that we know now, but became what they call a cold case. This guy was the suspect, the only suspect in the investigation from Jump Street from day one. They pretty much knew it was him. And then fast forward, it's a cold case. Now, folks, let me tell you about cold cases.
But it wasn't very cold.
Right. David, you worked up at homicide for years. You did cold cases yourself. You would go to the old vault, pull shit out, read cold cases.
Right.
When you weren't solving homicides, and you did this on your own.
So real quick, sometimes you get cold cases and you'll literally look through them and there's no meat on the bones. Like, they don't know anything about
There's nothing to go on.
There's nothing. There's like 3-page report, and you go down a property and there's all the property's gone. It's destroyed. Like, there's nothing. Then there's other cases for a variety of reasons where there's a lot of meat on the bones. Like,
so when
probably enough that if you literally took the case file and shook it a little bit, you could make an arrest.
So when you say meat on a bone, that's just our vernacular for saying that there was leads or things to go on, that it should not have been a cold case that you could follow up on and maybe make an investigation and possibly an arrest out of. Is that what you're saying?
That case and many others, that I've seen have some warmth to them, so to speak. They're not that cold.
Right. So, folks, for those that don't know, David, my superstar rock star partner, did work up in homicide for years. He did cold cases. This one he obviously did not have anything to do with. But basically what ended up happening was Savannah's sister, who, by the way, when she talked, my heart ripped out of my chest when I watched her on the news yesterday. But she basically was upset because Judge Miller, Stephen Miller, who's acting Supreme Court judge, ended up throwing out the case. Yesterday was supposed to be jury selection for this case to go to trial, because what they did, the RPD, the homicide unit, in 2018, superstar, great detective sergeant, great cop, great guy, Sergeant Dave Joseph, opens up the case, flips it around, looks at it, says, "Hey," like David says, "there's some meat on the bone here." David proceeds to continue an investigation and started the cold case, reopened it in 2018. And then fast forward, they made an arrest in 2023 on Kuhn. Kuhn was in jail, I believe, since 2023. Yesterday was when they were going to pick the jury. And that's when acting Supreme Court Judge Stephen Miller said no bueno and threw out the case. Now, go ahead, David.
He's taking a lot of heat, and I don't think it's necessary. That's not fair. It had nothing to do with the judge.
Right. So, folks, just to break it down for you to explain some things to you. We worked with Stephen Miller when he was at the DA's office. Steve's a good guy. Now he's a judge. He's acting Supreme Court judge. The prosecutors on the case, I believe it's the one we talk about all the time, rock star Sarah Van Strydock. She's awesome. On the other side, Sarah Wesley and Kyle Steinbach. I did cases with Kyle Steinbach when he was a DA. He's a private attorney now. He does defense work. He's the one who was defending Timothy Kuhn. I got to tell you, and I hate to say this, David, but we promise our audience we shoot it down the middle. It is none of the people that I mentioned's fault. It's not Brian Green, the new district attorney that was just appointed by Kathy Hochul. It's not his office fault. It's not his fault, which, by the way, shout out to Brian because I thought he did a great job. He was doing the media junket today. I think he was on some radio shows. He was in the media. He was taking calls. And I thought he did a great job talking about this and telling and explaining why it went south. So basically, David, it went south. Just to be very rudimentary here, there's two things I want to say. Cold cases, the way Captain Umbrino runs the ship is every 5 weeks, he asks his bosses, the detective sergeants in the unit, to pull a cold case out and see if there's, like David said, some meat on the bone where they can go forward and see if there was something there. David did this. Sergeant David Joseph did this in 2018. Thought there was some meat on the bone, like we said. And then when it happened, Frank Umbrino, the captain, said, cool, let's run with it. And it winds up today and it gets dumped by Stephen Miller. What happens is a Singer hearing, which was explained to me today. A Singer hearing, David, is pretty much when an investigation like this happens and you have new evidence to present to the court to say, hey, this is a cold case. I know it happened a decade and a half ago, but the Singer hearing in front of the judge basically says, hey, we think we have enough to go forward because this is what we got. They present the Singer at the Singer hearing. The DA's office presented this case, and the judge at the time said, yeah, you do have enough to go forward, and hence why they were going to go to trial. Well, fast forward to yesterday, what ends up coming out is that those investigators or investigator that were involved in the case had not fully disclosed some things. The way Brian Green had described it was sometimes memories get foggy over the years. I believe the investigator or investigators have since retired, but when they brought them back in, they had found information that apparently those detectives did not share with the DA's office. And the DA's office and our homicide unit, obviously they play the game forthright and straight up. What ends up happening is they present like, oh shit, this is what we got now. And Steve Miller said, no bueno, this should have been discovered and talked about in 2005. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not trying to throw anyone on the bus, but yes, that's what happened. And what he basically was saying is that the detectives and Sergeant Joseph did a fabulous job of following through on leads in the case and taking it to the point they could make an arrest. Unbeknownst to what they did, in 2005, some of those investigative measures had already been done, and that knowledge was gained by previous detectives that
and not acted on.
And previous investigators that or investigator that are since retired. That individual or individuals didn't do what they should have done, so they basically left it.
Yeah.
And that leaving it allowed it to go cold.
Right.
It was warm.
Yeah.
It went cold because they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And this was unbeknownst to the current crew led by Sergeant Joseph, who did a fabulous job now. So they were completely hit with a sledgehammer, not knowing this, and had the carpet pulled out from under them.
Yeah, this is horrible. It's over with,
horrible.
by the way.
And
it's over.
It's over with, and we're not naming names, but it can't happen. It's inexcusable, and especially for a homicide concern, and especially concerning a child.
Yeah,
it can't happen.
Can't happen.
It can't happen. It's no oopsie. There's no accident. It can't fucking happen.
Can't happen. I totally agree with you, David. Look, here's the thing, folks. We wore the RPD. That was our home jersey. And we always say common sense is finally arrived. We always shoot it down the middle. When our side, our home jersey doesn't do things correctly, we got to call it out. This is one of those incidents. So flag the tape, even though we wore the home jersey. This was a major, major F up by those that were involved in this investigation back in the day. Like I said, don't blame Brian Green. Don't blame Sarah Van Strydock. Don't blame the DA's office at all. Don't blame Stephen Miller. Don't blame Steinbach or Sarah Wesley. Don't blame them.
Don't blame Sergeant
Dave-
Joseph or
don't
any of the
blame
criminal
Joseph.
investigators that worked their ass off to do this stuff. They did a
100%.
fantastic
Man.
job.
Don't blame Captain Umbrino's staff and those that worked on it, and don't certainly blame Detective Sergeant, who is awesome and very competent. That's David Joseph.
And I feel terrible for him.
Yeah.
And I feel terrible because I know what goes into these cases.
Yeah.
And I know, and I'm going to explain to folks, when you solve a murder, it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It meant a lot to me to be able to speak for someone that lost their life, whether it was a gangbanger or not. But it takes it to an extra step further, the amount of emotional connection you get when you're dealing with something that you can feel the paper on the report and know it's old and know that it's filed away in some dark room and it has no life to it, and you resurrect it and you catch the killer. Like, I know what Sergeant Joseph's feeling, and he did a phenomenal job, and I feel for him. I can't imagine how heartbroken he is about this, as well as the family.
100%. I mean, look at this. It's 2025. David reopened it in 2018, 7 years. I know I have good sourcing that tells me David and some of the ATF guys flew all over the country working on this case, doing a whole bunch of stuff, doing investigative steps. It wasn't like they were sitting at their desk, David. It wasn't like they were twiddling their thumbs and clicking.
And this wasn't a DNA. This wasn't like sometimes you get a cold case and there's DNA and you send it to the lab. You don't leave the office. Comes back with a hit. You go make an arrest. You're the hero. This was old fashioned
police
good
work,
detective work. Yep.
Yeah. Well, like we said, folks, this is a shame. And David, we talk about this. Yeah, Cindy, me too. I feel so bad for the family. But David, we talk about this all the time. We talked about it on the radio show, right? Last Saturday. I don't know what the hell we were talking about, but I remember us saying, you and I had investigations. We always did. You and I had the opportunities that we created for ourselves, but we worked in units where we did long-term investigations, especially when you were doing what I ended up doing for years, where we did drugs, guns, and violence. We would take an investigation and we would start it. What people don't understand, some of those investigations that we started were like, oh shit, this is nothing. Ends in 2 weeks, right? Put a lot into it, 2 weeks, not enough to go forward. Sometimes it was 2 months. Sometimes it might even broach on a year or two.
I had a 10-year case when I was with the ATF. 10 years.
Right. But then something happens and it goes south and you're done. Right? But it's not because of lack of knowledge, investigation, knowledge, know-how, or drive, whatever, or incompetence.
Right.
Okay. It was due to something else, like, oh shit, I don't have enough, or this guy that I was targeting is in prison now, or he's in jail, he's dead, whatever it is. My point is, we had those investigations. We knew when to put it on the gas and when we knew to put the brake on. In this instance, this is a travesty of justice for the family, and my heart goes out to Savannah's family. Like I said, her sister.
Absolutely.
We had some questions on there. It's my understanding that it's all over with, and there's nothing else.
100% done. Nothing can be done.
Yeah. I don't know if the feds will be able to pick this case up. Arson is a federal crime, but I'm not sure what the statute of limitations on that are. I'll have to check with my ATF boys in the morning, because I know ATF does a lot of arson stuff in Rochester. They do a great job. They picked up a lot of those cases where those asshole Antifa people were lighting stuff on fire. And by the way, that's where some of the tears came for those Antifa people that lit shit on fire. We're in Rochester. No, guess what? It's Fed time because you lit something on fire. Guess what? You're going Fed time.
Even if the feds pick it up, there's going to be issues because, folks, you get that the individual or the individuals that screwed up big time are going to be called to the carpet, and it's going to open up a lot of questions, and the feds will have to ask whether can be there. You can get past that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of issues.
Yeah, and trust me, you and I did the Fed system, David. We know the Fed system, and I'm not disparaging our U.S. Attorney's office because we worked very closely with them. Okay, they're awesome. I got a really bad feeling that they would never touch this
Right.
investigation.
They got a
You know what I mean?
98% conviction rate for a reason.
Right. They got a 98%. Right. It's not like they're idiots over there in the Fed building over on State Street going, yeah, sure, we'll take this
Listen,
investigation
folks,
that's tainted.
the feds charge you, including Comey.
Yeah.
You got big problems.
Yeah.
98% conviction rate.
Exactly. They ain't playing games. Oh man. Well, anyway, shout out. All right, folks, we're running late, but we want to get one more story in. First of all, we want to give a
Do I
huge
get overtime for this? Jeez, we're like over an hour here, Johnny.
I know, buddy.
This is extra time.
Danny, you jumped by. Let's give a shout out to Kim DeRosa. She's a friend of the pod. Congratulations to our friend Kim DeRosa.
Beautiful.
Chairwoman of the Penfield Republican Committee. Shout out to her. She earned it. She worked hard.
Fancy photograph. I was like,
Great.
boom.
Well, listen, this is Danny. Danny doesn't ever. Danny, if it was
Oh,
me
Danny
and you-
did this?
If I asked you to do it, you'd probably draw something on a piece of paper.
I would have Asher draw it.
Yeah, Danny's a rock star.
Stick
David.
figure with blonde hair.
It's. Hey, listen. If Danny would get on the microphone, it would be unbelievable. But guess what? You're the man right now. You're in front of the camera. You're on the mic. David does all the stuff, or Danny does all the stuff that makes it look smart.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, shout out to Kim. She's awesome. She's a rock star. She's just chairwoman of the Penfield Republican Committee. She worked hard for that, and we're very happy for her. David, the last topic we're going to talk about, we're going to get it really quickly because I know we've been talking for a while. The Monroe County GOP, I have a message for them. And I have a message, and I'm going to be serious for a second. I know we F around a lot, but
hold on. If you're being serious, let me sit up. Okay,
hang on.
All
Let me adjust my shirt because
Okay.
I got a little sag in the collar right there, and it bothers me. All right,
All right.
ready?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to be serious. Awesome weekend with my family. Great weekend with my family. My daughter, she was over the whole weekend. Her friends were here the whole weekend. Saturday, we do a hibachi cookout at the Fiorica house. It was awesome. After we ate dinner, I had some great conversations with the age group of people that were in attendance with my daughter. And I had a specific conversation with my new friend, Andy, who, man, he just blew my doors off, David, because what was interesting, and you and I talk about this, we talk about, holy shit, what's going on with the future? What are our children going to do? What are they thinking? What's going on? They're going to mess the whole future up. We laugh at Dana White saying it's yours for the taking. These guys are all soft. These girls are dumb. They're soft too. If you want to be a gorilla, Dana White says, go ahead, reach out and grab it. Well, let me tell you what, that was 0 of people that were in attendance at my house on Saturday. And I'm not just trying to do a humble brag, but I had a cool conversation for a long time in the corner of my yard as I smoked 17 cigars and drank some beers with Andy. And Andy had some great, great thoughts. And when I'm talking to him, I'm listening to him, and I'm sitting there going, where is the Monroe County GOP? I hope they have a game plan for people like Andy and his age group. Because I'll tell you this, David, the conversation that I had with these kids, and it was Andy and a couple other guys that were there, and some of the girls, and they're all under 30 years old.
I was going to say 25 to 30. That age.
That was the age group, David. We were not dialed in like these guys are. And I say kids, that's just a term of endearment. So I'm not being disrespectful.
I don't even know who the president was when I was 25.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that this is what my message is to the GOP. Like, I'm not trying to big time them. They know that we try to promote them anytime we can. We have been critical of them. However, they got to figure out a strategy to get to these young kids, because I don't feel this is exactly what some of the kids were saying. Some of the kids were saying is they were huge Charlie Kirk followers. They're awake. But since Charlie Kirk, they're more vocal. They're talking about things. I don't know where the Monroe County GOP is right now. Meaning where they are with their strategy to try to get these young kids to become involved or register them to vote.
They need that. They need more young blood in the organization. Yeah. Because that young blood draws other young blood. Yeah. Old timers don't draw in the young.
No.
Okay.
No.
You can draw in wealthy people and some important people that are in your age group. But if you want to draw on the young, it doesn't have to be a 25-year-old, but
Yeah.
you got to have someone under 40 that's can talk the talk a little bit.
And I have a message to the GOP, and I'm like I said, I'm not trying to. We have a platform. I'm just saying this, and I hope they have a plan. I really think that they probably already do, but I hope they do, because these kids that were in my backyard are exactly the people. I'm not saying that you want to get them involved in politics to run. Maybe some will, maybe some won't. I don't know. But I'm talking about just getting them registered to vote, talking to them, having town halls with them, having get-togethers with these guys and girls, and hearing what they say. Because I'll tell you what, I wish there was some of the leaders from the GOP in my backyard last week. Because when we were sitting there, I listened, David, right? I mean, you bust my balls all the time, but I listened more than I talked because I was fascinated.
I don't bust your balls. What do
Well,
you mean?
you say that I listen to my audio books, so you bust my balls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
true.
a good
I do
I'm
do
a good
that.
listener.
You are a
Yeah,
good listener.
thank you.
Haven't read a thing, but you definitely
Right, I don't
listen.
read. I don't read. But my point is, I was listening to all these kids talk. I was fascinated. I was dry. I woke up the next morning going, "Holy shit, man! These are the future, right?" Where I was worried, I was worried. You know, what I mean, you talk to like I talked to my daughter, all her friends. They're dialed in on this political spectrum right now. They know what's going on. They
Now,
can have conversations.
do you think that's a niche, or do you think that's very common among that age group?
I was talking to them, and these are conversations that they have amongst themselves too. Like these are things that they talk about.
It's fascinating because you hear so much about colleges being so woke and so liberal and polluting the brains of these poor kids
Yeah,
but now you're sensing that these kids just graduated college and they seem to have a real good feel for what's going on. So that's fascinating that
yeah,
I would like
yeah.
to that would be my first question to them is how they didn't get indoctrinated into the wokeness.
Well, I think a lot to do with it. You know what I mean? Especially, when my daughter, and I let her pick her political path, but when I'll speak specifically for my family, um, she would sit in class at Fisher and text me during class. And she was a COVID kid. And she'd be like, "Oh my God, listen to the bullshit my professor's talking now." And I would say to her, "Son, listen, I hate to say this because you're going to have your whole life to give your opinion. Play the game. Don't let it affect your GPA. Play the game, da 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 da." And then she would come home and we would talk, but I let her form her own opinions because she'd be coming home and she'd be like, because she wasn't as invested as she is now in what's going on in the political climate, right? We talk a lot now, but then she's like, "The professor said this." I'm like, that's not true. And here's why it's not true. And then I would show her shit on the internet, on the Googles. I would show her some things. I would send her stuff, say, "Hey, read this." And I'll say, "This is why your professor is wrong." But anyways, she has morphed into an independent thinker. And at the end of the day, all her friends are very like-minded. I wish you were back there with me, David, just to listen to what was going on, because I hope the GOP
Well, I'd
in
have to be
Monroe
invited,
County.
Johnny. See, I don't get invited to these events like lunch and
Just
backyard barbecues. I'm
wait.
I'm kept in a cage with a microphone and headphones.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this right now.
Where I belong. That's exactly where I belong.
Listen, thanks, Rance. I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, I got the next time we do have a get together, I'm definitely going to have you in the backyard because it was cool combos. We had a great conversation, and that's why I said I put it on a Twitch that I got a message to GOP. I don't want to sound arrogant when I said that, but I just wanted to let them know. I'm sure they're already aware. I'm not being disrespectful, David, because our history with the Monroe County GOP. There are some
They don't like us.
older people in the party that don't like us because we're opinionated, when actually we're the ones saying, "Hey, we have a platform. We have people that we actually talk to."
All we said was they need to recruit more young members and more people to run for office that can win, and
Right.
that they don't recruit them. And if you don't recruit, then people won't run because they don't.
Right.
They want to feel wanted. They want to feel like you're invested in them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will tell you this though, very, very interesting. I'll tell you one of the things that they said was, not really. Obviously, they're not lefties. Definitely not lefties at all. They're not in the middle. They're not that at all. They definitely lean a little bit toward the right, a little conservative. But one of the interesting things that they said, They said, yeah, I wonder if there's going to be a third party, not the independent party, but they're sitting there and going,
Never will happen.
yeah, I know. But the thing is, though, is they're talking about, it's almost like that Charlie Kirk party. You know what I
Well,
mean?
they want, or they want to be like an independent or a Kennedy Democrat. They want to be like in the middle. They want to be, socially, more liberal, and they want to be fiscally more conservative, and they want to be for law and order, but maybe they're pro-abortion, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're more in the middle, which now both sides, no one's in the middle.
And by the way, this is why he's way smarter than me. Occupy, our main man, Occupy. He's 100% right. The Freedom Party, but that's what they were talking about. And he's like, they drew a roadmap. Charlie drew them a roadmap, and I hope that they follow it because it's right for the pickings.
Occupy, can I focus you on getting us to win Podcast of the Year? I need you to work on the algorithms and work on the formulas and all that stuff. I need you to focus right now, Occupy.
So you're saying, okay, first of all, you started with my main man, Fire Guy, with the comments earlier about walking into the Winfield in a uniform. Now you got to be.
I didn't even mention Fire Guy. I said Fireman. Right, I love Fire Guy.
Yeah, but he's our guy, and that you say some things sometimes.
I said I love firemen. I just said, do they have to show ID if they come in uniform with a hose and a hat and a
That's a left-handed compliment, I have to say. Look at Arlene, what she's saying. That's cool. 14-year-old granddaughter knew who Charlie was. Watch his debates. He was a social media icon. Anyways, that's enough of me. I'm not going to say anything else, David. You know what I mean? But listen, folks, two things. Next Wednesday at the Winfield, we are not going to have a live show next Wednesday. We're finally giving David and Danny a day off.
It's overtime. I need 2 weeks off.
We're giving David and Danny a day off, specifically Danny, because he works like an animal for us. We're going to be at the Winfield from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. next Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. If you are law enforcement, first responder, if you are a firefighter, if you're a volunteer fighter, if you are anything to do with first responders, ambulance, go to the Winfield. Dine in only, 20% off your bill all day on the 15th. That is dinner with the dogs. That's what we're calling it. And then David and I are going to be there from 6 to 9. We will be drinking probably non-alcoholic beverages. And we will probably, if it's nice, maybe smoking a cigar in the front. I don't know. I can't tell you what Uncle Johnny's
Post up right at the table out front with a couple cigars. I hope it is nice.
We hope that you guys show up. We would love to meet our listeners and people that have supported us. Please come out. We'll mingle. We'll talk. We'll have some face-to-face stuff. You're all invited. Please come. The Winfield is a great sponsor. They're a great establishment. The ownership is just unbelievable at that place. The food, the service, it's top shelf. Next, we're going to be broadcasting it. But the second thing, Danny, put it up. I forgot what it is. Rock City Mags. What is it again?
Vote.
Yeah. RockCityMag.com. Go vote for the Crime Dog podcast. You got to do a little clicking around. It's not that easy, but you'll figure it out. Register your email with those guys and then vote for the Crime Dog podcast. We want to be the #1 podcast in Rochester.
And it's under entertainment and podcast that you got to go into. When you go into the voting, it's under that.
Yeah, you got to
click on us.
You got to do a little shimmy when you get there. Do a little shimmy when you get to the RockCityMag.com.
Yep.
All right, that's it, folks. Listen, man, on behalf of me and my Rockstar co-host and our super producer, Danny Agnew, we appreciate you plugging into the live stream. This is one of the longest ones we've ever had. We hope you stick with us for future episodes. But like my brother-in-law, Frankie Grassi, says, if you can't make it, who cares?
Hoorah.